Some women won't have weight gain. Some women will get breast cancer. Some women won't get breast cancer or flushes, but they'll have migraines. So there's all different scenarios. One lady who'd been on the pill for 7 years, but she lived quite healthy, she went through menopause and got all the symptoms, and she thought she'd be right because it was 30 years ago. And she'd had no symptoms up till there. And I've met some people who've never been on the pill, their mothers have never been on the pill, and yet they've got the imbalance. What's happening to the men, the sons of the women who are on the pill? They're the ones with penile dysfunction. They're the ones with low sperm count. They're the ones that experience this effeminate behaviour. I have to be careful what I say in Australia on that one. It's a touchy subject. Do you know, it's not the only cause, but it certainly are contributing factors. There's more. What happens when a chicken is fully developed in 5 weeks? That's a bit scary, isn't it? Growth stimulants. It's against the law to give chickens growth stimulants now, so they've genetically modified them to produce more estrogen. That's why if you want to have your own hens, you call them hens or chickens, you have to go out to an old guy living up in the hills who's got the same chickens that his father and his father before him had. Is that right? You need to get ones that haven't been touched. What about fish? Well, when you've got 80% of women on the pill or HRT, the sewage goes out to the sea, the fish are feeding on that. And there's something else that's affecting the fish, and that is the plastics. In fact, it's huge. It's causing terrible problems in sea life now, the plastics. What about cattle? Well, you know what God meant cattle to eat, don't you? Grass. Grass. But there are a lot of grain-fed cattle now, and a lot of that grain can be mould, you know, have been touched with mould because it's not fit for human consumption, so they'll give it to the animals. You've also got growth stimulants being given to cattle, even though it's against the law. That the pharmaceutical companies have arranged it such that you can do a blood test 5 days before market and not picked up the growth stimulant. That's scary, isn't it? So if it's in the meat, it's in the product. We're going to show you how to make lentils taste fantastic, so you don't have to go to this one. You see, in fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains and legumes are all the nutrients that this human body requires. Plastics. I think it's impossible to get away from plastic. It's handy stuff. But we need to be very mindful of not storing things in plastic. So your drinking bottle, it should be stainless steel or glass, or I have one that I travel, and it's a hard plastic. And that hard plastic doesn't have the chemicals in it. You see, estrogen, in its molecular structure, has a phenyl ring. And that phenyl ring unlocks the door to let the estrogen into the cell. So there are some chemicals today they're putting in plastics that have the phenyl ring. There's nonylphenol, and nonylphenol is what makes the plastic soft, so you can squeeze it. And another one is bisphenol A, or it's often called BPA. You know, you can get plastic that's BPA free. And they're usually the hard plastic. You can get some healthy baby bottles that are the hard plastic. But notice what they all have. They all have the phenyl ring. And that's why plastics, they're called xenoestrogens. That's estrogen mimickers. They mimic estrogen. They get into the estrogen receptor site. That's one of the reasons for this hormone imbalance epidemic that we're seeing, is the exposure to the plastics.